Hello my friends, this is Jeannie. Welcome back. If you are new to my channel, welcome. This is part 2 of a process video where I'm sharing with you how I create the covers for my journals from scratch. In the first video, I shared with you how I use chipboard, Tyvek, and double-sided tape to create this cover. If you have not seen that video, be sure to check it out. I will throw up a card linking you to that video somewhere in this area. In this video, what we are going to do now is cover the cover that I created in fabric. Now, just to catch you up a little bit on what I've done since the last video, I did use a scrap strip of Tyvek that I had to cover up that gap, that exposed chipboard that I had in the inside of the cover, because the Tyvek I used to wrap didn't completely cover the entire journal. I thought I would leave it as is, but I did find a strip of scrap that I decided to use, so now I have my cover completely covered in that Tyvek. I also cut some fabric, that blue and white gingham fabric. This is a Wizard of Oz themed journal. I mentioned that in the first video. And so I'm using this fabric, which is the same pattern of Dorothy's dress in films and books and just about every illustration you've ever seen that has Dorothy in it. Now what I'm going to do is adhere the fabric to the book. In terms of the size of the fabric that I'm using, I'm just using a big enough piece so that it will wrap over on all sides with a generous amount being left over. And then I will come in with some nice quality cardstock and create kind of panels to cover the remaining of the Tyvek that's exposed. That way I'll have some nice contrast between the fabric and the inside of both covers. I could just wrap the entire book in this fabric, and I thought about doing that, but I felt that was just too matchy-matchy. I wanted some blocks of color. So what I did was I went into my stash and found some of this paper. I think this is Lawn Fawn, and the color is called Chili Pepper maybe. And I cut some panels that are going to fit on both covers, and tuck this down a little bit, and the spine. Okay, and I'll adhere those on once I glue the fabric on. So to adhere the fabric to my cover, I like to use, let's see if I can find it now. Here it is, some fabric tack. Super adhesive. It's permanent. It binds fabric, lace, glass, leather, wood, etc. It just binds a lot. I love this. If you pay full price for this, it can be expensive, but I never pay full price for it. I always use, anytime I get one of those 50% off coupons from Michael's, I go and I pick up a bottle of this stuff. So it's the best type of adhesive to have for adhering fabric onto just about anything. So we're going to take some fabric tack. We're going to spread a thin layer of it over the cover. This is the front of the book. And then we will adhere that onto the fabric. You want just enough glue so that the fabric will stick, but you do not want so much glue that it will soak through. Sometimes, although this glue dries clear, right, it can stain your fabric. And I don't know if this glue is going to stain this particular fabric until I actually stick it on. So what I like to do, and it's a little bit messy, is I put the glue on the book and I do one section at a time. I have more control by doing one section at a time. So I'm going to put a nice thin layer by running some beads of the glue on the cover, and then just using my fingers to spread it out. Yeah, it's a little messy, but that's okay. And I'm going to stick that on like that. I'm going to use my hands to spread that out. And I just put on that one side of the cover, and as soon as I have a good stick on that, that's my squeaky brayer. I will, wow, that one's super squeaky, huh? I shall name you Mousy. My goodness, let's find another one here. Let's try this one. Use your fingers, use your hands, smooth it out, work out any folds or wrinkles in the fabric. Okay, so I got that one part on. Let's move to the next one. I think I skipped a spot here. I'm just going to use my hands, my fingers, feel around, find that seam between the covers and the spine. Make sure fabric is worked into that. We won't use Mousy this time. Again, I'm just working the fabric into those seams. They're not seams, those little dips between the spine and the covers, front and back covers. Great. And now I don't mind this method because I don't mind getting my hands a little bit dirty. the payoff is very much worth the messy, messy hands. And it truly is the best way, best I think method for controlling how much glue is on the fabric, or is on the cover to adhere the fabric. So that is pretty good. That is pretty good. Very good. And I didn't get any glue coming through the fabric. So in my mind, that is a win. I'm just going to rub some of this glue. Did I say it was messy? It's messy. Some of this glue off my fingers. So now what we're going to do is wrap the remaining fabric around and to the inside of the cover. I'm going to leave the excess down here, the excess up here, and the excess on the side. Okay, I want that excess so that when I glue my panel over it, I won't see any of the Tyvek. I'll just see a nice border of that same fabric. But I do have to cut some of the excess from the corners so that we can properly fold. So I am going to do that now. I'm going to try to be neat about my corners, but if it's a tiny bit less than perfect, I'm okay with that, because I will be using book corners, metal book corners on my book, and book corners are awesome for disguising those imperfections or exposed corners that you can sometimes get when you use fabric to wrap a book. I've never ever been able to master that perfect fold on the corner. Never been able to master that. So I mastered the art instead of using book corners. Because, I mean, if I had to pick one part of my journals that was probably the messiest or my least favorite, it's the corners. And that's why I use the book corners, the metal book corners. And I'm going to hold on to these little scraps because I can use those for collaging inside the book itself. So what we're going to do now, I think I'm going to bring in the outside edges first and then bring down the top, right? Let's see, is that what I want to do? Yeah, that's what I want to do. So I'm going to take the same glue, kind of eyeball how much I have to put down. So from around here, use that same method, put down some of that glue spread it around. And fold. Because the Tyvek is kind of like, I don't know if there's plastic in Tyvek, but it does kind of have like a real plasticky, or at least coated feel to it. Any excess glue, if you wipe it off right away, will just rub right off. But you have to do that right away. Don't let it sit. Okay, so that's that side. Let's do the same for this side. Somewhere around there, abouts. Boy, I go through this glue so quickly. I think I opened this bottle maybe 2 weeks ago, if that, and it's more than halfway done. Good glue though. Very good glue. Messy. So I do a lot of this and get it to just beat up on my hands. And I'm always manipulating the cover, making sure nothing crazy is happening. Just kind of tracking what's going on. So let's fold the bottom half up now. So we want sure we cover the entire surface. Bring up that fabric. I hope you guys don't mind that I'm not especially chatty while doing this. I just like to concentrate. And I'm going to go ahead and use my bone folder just to again form the fabric, or mold the fabric into those areas between the spine and the front and back cover. Apparently I didn't bring the glue far enough, so let's do that. And really, I know, I'm probably a little extra in some of my steps, but I really do feel if you take the time and put in the effort to make sure your cover is right, then everything else just falls into place. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the last side. Do you know what kind of cover I haven't made yet? And I think I haven't made it for no other reason than, quite honestly, I find it a little intimidating. Are the just a soft cover or a fabric cover for a journal. I've not done that. I don't know why. I'm intimidated by the thought of making a soft or just straight up fabric cover for a journal, but I am going to get over that, and I'm going to try that. I don't know when, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try. I've been watching videos, and I have everything I need. I have a sewing machine. I have fabric. I have all kinds of things that I think would be good for making that style of cover. But the only thing I haven't had is just the courage to do it. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I want to use more or incorporate more sewing into my journals. Right now, most of what I do is gluing or stapling. I have this awesome sewing machine. I just upgraded my sewing machine because my last one was killed by a Girl Scout project, and the heavy amount of sewing I did for that project just finally killed that machine. That machine was over 15 years old though, so I got some good use out of it. But I have a new machine. I do, and I want to use more sewing in my books. So let's see how that goes. So that is the cover. Check that out. Wrapped in fabric. That is pretty cool. Now you see what I mean about you see how the corners look a little ratty? I will cover that with some metal book corners. So I think, what are we at? 22 minutes. Plenty of time to put in the inside cover. I went with the red. Because, of course, Dorothy, ruby red slippers. And I like the contrast. Yeah, I like the contrast. Yeah, I think I like that. I tell you what I don't like. Do you see when you put the front and the back, the inside papers, and that center spine, there's going to be the tiniest gap where the book opens and closes, and you're going to be able to see where the fabric ends and that white right there. I don't like that. And this is what I mean by every cover I make involves a little of MacGyvering, if you will, and kind of adjusting. I don't know. I'll probably have to look at my other journals, how I've dealt with that in the past. I just think it's odd that I really noticed it now. And it could be just because of the contrast between the fabric, the blue and the white. Or maybe all my other journals have that, and it's just something I never noticed and never bothered me until now. And honestly, I should really, who cares, right? Who cares? It's for my own personal use. And even if I give it to someone, they would never complain about something like that. So we're going to let it go. We're going to let it go. Yep, we're going to let it go. But, you know, between you, me, I am going to be dreaming about this tonight and what I could have done differently to avoid that. I could have wrapped the entire journal in the fabric and then come back and put the panels down anyway. That would have eliminated that. I could, I suppose, always go in with an extra strip of this fabric and cover that, but truly, we're going to let it go. We are. Now, let me see. Do I want to do anything to my panels before I put them on? Yeah, I want to, I think I'm going to just maybe do a little inking. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Let me move this over here so I'm not reaching across the camera. I'm going to, now's the time to do whatever inking, stamping you're going to do on your panel before you put them down. So once you put them down, it's going to be infinitely more difficult to stamp on them. Definitely near to impossible to distress the edges once you adhere it. So I'm going to do that now. I'm not going to lean over my book when I do that. I'm using these Dollar Tree, these makeup sponges from the Dollar Tree, and they do tend to disintegrate pretty quickly, and I don't want pieces of this sponge covered in black ink falling onto my beautiful fabric. So I'm going to work a little bit off to the side. My friends, forgive me, but I'm not doing anything super exciting, just distressing the edges of my panels here. I don't plan on doing any stamping on the panels, so okay. Okay. And then this one here. Yeah, that's not that bad, actually. You know what? I'm making a bigger deal out of it than it really needs to be. We'll just, I'm sure if I look back at all my journals, they have that same thing. I'm going to use fabric tack to adhere this paper onto the inside and back. And let's try that again. I'm going to use my fabric tack to adhere the cardstock onto the inside of the books because there is fabric, and I do want to make sure that the paper adheres to the fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and use my fabric tack. I'm going to bring that as close to the edge as possible. I'm going to close the cover of my book a little bit while I do this so that I get the placement correct. And what I can do too to kind of mask that issue in the center that I don't like is just push my panel closer to the spine, but making sure to not completely shove it into that fold, because then the fold won't work properly. Perfect. We'll do the other side, and then we'll come back and put in the center panel, and we'll call it done for this video. I promised you that I was going to make a conscious effort to keep my videos down to a reasonable length. So we're at 30 minutes now. So I definitely want to start wrapping up this video. You want to do your best to try and line up both panels so they look to be placed evenly. I think that goes a long way to making your book look just a little more finished. Okay, that's looking great. And now our center panel, and then we are done for this video. So I think what I'm going to do is work on embellishing the signatures and then figure out that file folder thingy I want to do for the center of my book, or center signature I should say. Of course I need some spine jewelry. I have some charms that I'm going to use to make, where are they? Right here. I'm going to use, let's see if I can get this open. I'm going to use these charms to make some spine jewelry. These are Wizard of Oz themed. There's a rainbow, Dorothy, a little dog, a tin man, scarecrow, lion, hot air balloon, and some ruby red slippers. I'm going to use that to make some spinal jewelry. I think that's what I'm going to do. Who knows? I might change my mind. Was also thinking of trying something new by letting, when I attach the signatures, instead of cutting the thread or the wax cording short, maybe leaving them long and attaching some of those charms to those so that they kind of dangle from the inside of the book. Maybe I'll do that. I don't know. I guess I'll make that decision. I'll cross that bridge when I get there. Right now, I'm not there. So, that is, check that out. That looks good. That looks good. That came out nice. No glue, no staining. That's what the inside looks like. Nice finished. What I will do is I will end this video here and then pick up in another video, maybe down the road, or maybe I'll do it off camera and then catch you guys up. I don't know. Are you interested in seeing like every single step as I put this journal together, or do you mind if I kind of do some things off camera and then come back and explain them to me? You tell me what you prefer. But what this needs to really, truly, and honestly be complete is we need the corners for the book. We need a ring here for the spine jewelry. And we need to make the holes for the signatures I recently started using eyelets to reinforce the holes for my signatures, but I don't know, I might change that method in this video, we'll see. But there you have it. That's like basics. Putting together a nice, strong, super sturdy cover. I wish you could feel this. It feels strong. It feels sturdy. This is solid. This is solid. This is going to be around for a good long while. And it looks good. It looks neat, right? It looks finished. And once we add those book corners and I get that ring in, it's going to be ready for signatures. So that is my video for you, my friends. Thank you so much for watching. If you are new to my channel and you are not subscribed, please subscribe. I would love to have you. If you haven't activated that notification bell, do that. And then every time I post a video, you will be notified. And that way you can keep up with everything I do with respect to this journal. And if you like this video, I would kindly appreciate a thumbs up. I will catch you all in the next video, my friends. Until next time, bye-bye.